All right. Back again. Adrian Blackwell, Bobby Douglas, it's Creative Notice. And as usual, we're bringing the hot takes. Bobby, how you doing, man? How's life treating you?
Good, man. Good. Life is good, man. How about you? How you doing?
Man, I'm hanging in there. That's what I'm doing. I'm hanging in there, chilling.
Day
Day by day, brother. Day by day. So, real quick, really want to give a big recognition to, maybe he should have the title as the GOAT. Bill Russell
Mm, yeah.
passed away at the age of 88. Big time legend for the Baltimore Celtics. Had, if I'm correct, 11 titles.
Yeah.
11
11
titles
chips.
for 11 ships with the Boston Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was MVP, 6 times?
Yeah, 6
Or
times.
5 times. Yeah, 6 times. So,
MVP 6 times.
yeah, so big time legend passed away. After he passed away, you see the photos of circulating around, different photos of him, and then one of the big legendary ones I saw was him and Mike Tyson sparring in front of a restaurant years
Oh
ago.
yeah.
I mean, not Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali
Oh yeah,
sparring.
Ali. Yeah.
So yeah, man. So real quick, shout out to the Bill Russell, big time legend for the NBA. You
Yeah.
got anything you want to chime in on him?
Yeah, man. And not only that, he was a pioneer and a trailblazer. Definitely for what's going on right now. I mean, he endured a lot during that time.
Yeah.
I mean, they defecated in his bedroom, and he still had the perseverance to play. And I mean, a lot of people these days, man. I mean, they can say all sports. I mean, because it's different generations. A lot of people say all
Yeah.
these different generations are soft, but just
Yeah.
that mentality to be able to deal with that, man. He was on a different level, and to win 11
Oh yeah.
chips. I don't care what level of competition you're playing against. That's hard. So,
Yeah.
but no, definitely rest in peace to Bill Russell. Definitely an icon and basketball pioneer. Yeah, I'm from Boston. I was born in Boston. I'm a Patriots fan. I'm a I'm gonna say this. I'm a light weather Celtics fan. Uh, that's definitely the home team.
Yeah.
But the history. The problem is the history is dirty. It's if you start peeling back some of those layers
Yeah.
to Celtics history, definitely towards African Americans,
Yeah.
it's not positive.
Yeah.
So again, fair weather. But if anybody did, I'm glad that he was the one to break through the mold. And unfortunately, he had to endure a lot for us to get to this point. And they still say it was interesting. LeBron. I wish Jeff was on this podcast. I know we had talked about LeBron, but LeBron said in the shop, he has a podcast, or it's not really a podcast, it's a TV show
Yeah.
on the shop, and he said one of the worst. They asked him, "What's the most? Where do you hate playing at the worst?" And Boston was number 8 because he said they're effing racist. Those are his
Yeah.
words,
Yeah. I remember seeing
verbatim.
that.
And he's not the only player. A lot of players say it to this day. So there's still a lot of prejudice, racist things that go on there, especially
Yeah.
for a sport that's predominantly black.
Yeah.
But no, shout out to Bill Russell, rest in peace, and definitely
Yeah.
will be missed.
Yeah. I agree. To really endure a lot of that, there's a lot of great, African American pioneers that really went in that time in that country, with the country. And, anything in the 60s, 70s, Jim Crow era, all that back then, to be able to be basketball player, any type of athlete, hell, just a musician, to even have to go in the back doors just to perform
Yeah.
and to be the headline of the performance and still get paid completely nothing, and to have to use a water fountain that's considered a color because you can't use just because your skin is color, and to really push through that, that just says a lot. And
Yeah.
Bill Russell definitely is a testament to that. And Bill Russell should definitely he definitely got his roses while he was alive, but he's
He
going to
did.
continue to get them.
He
He's
did.
going to
He
continue
he
to get
did.
them. Yeah,
People respected him, loved him, and
yeah,
and everything he went through, he definitely. I'm not gonna say it was they made up for it, but it was definitely
mhm,
they tried.
yeah,
they,
yeah.
they
And I
definitely
mean,
tried.
you can't change what the past is. Who lives in the past and what they done in the past is what happens in the past. But
Yeah.
Bill Russell, didn't even let it bother him, and go on and win 11 chips for an organization that was known to have racism in their stadiums, and for the things that he went through,
Yeah.
lets you know that he's a true man and a man who isn't afraid. So
Yeah.
shout out Bill Russell. It's not rest
Yep.
in peace. It's
Yep.
called live long, live forever, and roses for you, into the end of time. So,
Yes, sir.
so let's keep it rolling, man. Next topic, man, is the one and only
Oh, Deshaun.
Deshaun Watson, man. This guy, man. You know, in our past podcast, man, we talked about it, and we not saying we took sides, but we was given the benefit of the doubt because we wasn't in that situation. But everybody, Creative Notice followers, if you have not went and watched his deposition, please go watch it because it's going to really make you go real fast, man. But
Yeah.
he's suspended for 6 games. So I know we haven't done a prediction for them, but what do you think? He's suspended for 6 games. I mean, are we really that confident in the backup?
No, because they came out. The NFL is going to appeal it, and
Oh yeah, most definitely.
and they want him. They want him gone for a year, which most people thought was going to be a year anyway.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a year, so I just think I think Roger Goodell's under a lot of. It's weird though. You know what's weird about that is, okay, it's like you can't have everything you want.
Yeah.
Like the whole point, they didn't like Roger Goodell having all that power because in the law, in the letter of the law, he can basically, he was the judge, jury, and executioner. He decided your fate. So a lot of people, and again, my boy Tom Brady, when he during what was that Deflategate, he took it to court as well, which a lot of people do, but he was one of the well-known ones that took it further to district court and Supreme Court. It's almost like be damned if you do, be damned if you don't. So if the players are upset that Roger Goodell has all this power, why even take it this far? Because he could have been, if they just would have been like, okay, Roger Goodell, why even, her name is Sue Robinson, the judge that's handed out the 6 games. They could have took it out of Sue's hand and kept it in Roger Goodell's hand, and he could have just came down with the punishment and moved on. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, how they're doing this. Well, it's not weird. I understand it, but it's like one of those things where, I don't know, Roger Goodell's in a tough position because for what he was alleged, and especially with the conduct of the NFL, I mean, it has to be a year. It can't be 6 games. That just seems light. That's like because the problem is the slap in the face of the victims. Even though they 23 of the 24 settled, but just because they settled doesn't mean the damages are gone. They're going to be scarred for a lifetime.
So let me ask you this, and I don't mean to cut you off, but let me ask you this real quick question. Out of all the players that's in the league right now or that's suspended, let's just use Calvin Ridley, for example. So he's suspended for 17 games, technically the whole year.
The whole year,
the whole year for gambling. And then you have I forgot who's the other player who's suspended. What's the young fella that went to the Seattle Seahawks and he just couldn't stop smoking weed?
Earl Thomas.
No, not Earl. Not Earl Thomas. Young wide receiver. Oh man, I forgot his name. But he's suspended.
No,
he went to Seattle. I mean, I forgot where he used to play for Patriots. He's been bouncing all around the league because he just can't stop smoking weed. He keeps getting caught.
Josh Gordon.
Yeah, he's suspended for like 13 million something games. 6 game suspension. I agree with you, Bobby. A 6 game suspension. You know what that tells me is that there's enough money in this world to buy freedom.
Yeah, that's the other part.
That's what it is, and I mean, it's no. I'm not. I'm not here to bash Deshaun Watson. I'm damn sure not here to, throw shade at the women who was involved in this situation. But it just goes to let you know, like I said, I watched that deposition case, and if you really watch how he answered those questions, just for him just saying, "Oh, and the guy asked him, did you find her attractive?" He goes, I have a girlfriend, so I don't know what you mean. Like, I mean, you can find a woman attractive. Any married man can sit here and say, yes, I think she's attractive. So it has nothing to do with being a girlfriend. But the way he answered those questions, man, says a lot about the situation that he was in and says a lot about the situation that really happened in closed doors.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So, they settled the 6 game suspension. Like you said, that's a slap on the wrist, but how do you think that fares up? Let's just use Calvin Ridley for example. How do you think that fares up with the Deshaun Watson case compared to Calvin Ridley's case? What do you think that stands on?
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't because it's 6 games compared to a whole year. So he challenged the integrity of the game, which
Hmm.
that's any game, any sports, you're going to get a hefty suspension or a fine. That's why
Yeah,
Pete Rose to this day is still not in the Hall of Fame for baseball, which he should be because the numbers he put
yeah,
up was crazy. But he bet on that's a taboo in any sport. You never
yeah,
compromise the integrity of any, and especially the game that you're playing.
yeah.
So I understand the year suspension with him. I really do. He compromised the integrity of the game. If it's $50 or it was $100,000,
Hmm.
you're playing in the game, and you're compromising it. So, but
Yeah,
compared to Deshaun Watson and his 6 games, I was going to bring that point up too. The money, because not only money but influence can go a long way. So it makes you wonder who's in one's pockets and who's is not. But if you bring the Calvin Ridley, it doesn't make sense how Deshaun gets 6 and he gets a whole year, or basically the whole
hmm,
year, the rest for the whole season.
yeah,
And I'm glad. Truthfully, man, like it's one of those things where again they don't want Roger Goodell to have the power,
yeah.
and they take it to the Supreme Court. But this is one of those situations where it's a good thing he has the power because he has to step in. It makes the NFL look horrible.
Hmm.
6 games, and he had over 60 women come out and say that it was sexual assault. He settled over 23 out of 24.
Yeah,
He will settle that last one. It will be 24 out of 24.
yeah.
So I mean, it's a bad look. So yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, I'll say this as a fan of the NFL, would I love to see him playing? Of course. I mean, he's electrifying. He's that much of a baller. He's a game changer. Now take the fan and the sports out of it. Man, honestly, yeah, he deserves at least a year.
Yeah.
But I think with Sue, she felt like because I read it and I looked into it. Her argument was he sat out all last year. So what was the
Hmm.
point? Like, because he sat out last year, so that should
Like time
count.
served.
It should be
Yeah,
time served. So
yeah.
it's almost like it's too. It's I get it. So
Damn
it
if you
gets
do, damn if you don't.
damn if you do, damn if you don't. So it's almost like I feel like, to be honest with you, man, even if let's just say he was suspended 12 games, I still feel like Roger Goodell's going to appeal. He still got to put a stamp on it. He got
Hmm.
to. He just
Yeah,
can't not put a stamp on it. So
yeah. And it also makes me ask questions. Is like if if all this is coming out, deposition coming out, the settles coming out, so it's looking like maybe there could have been something that happened between all those cases. What does that say for the teams that was actually in pursuing for him?
yep,
The Falcons. What does that say about Cleveland Browns? I'm not saying that the man did it. It's just that there's a lot that's if there was darkness, there's lights turning on, and there's starting to be some things that's starting to be seen.
yeah,
My thing is like, what does that say about the Falcons? I'm a Falcons fan, but you know, at the end of the day, you got to respect. You have to respect women's, people's. You got to respect people's, space. You know what I
yeah,
mean? You had to respect it. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. It's called
yeah,
respect the space.
yeah,
But for the Falcons and the Cleveland Browns to pursue them and for Cleveland to sign up for what they did, it kind of makes me wonder. Is like, did they even know what was he doing, or did they know the case, or if they did know the case, did they care? Because
yeah.
for him to get 6 games, and this is just me, Roger Goodell can appeal it. NFL can appeal it all they want. It's
Hmm.
done.
It's done.
It's
Yeah,
done. Like he's
yeah,
going to be suspended for 6 games.
yeah,
Y'all can be all frustrated. That's not even half the season. He's
yeah,
suspended for 6 games. He'll be back, and don't let it be where the team is behind. Deshaun Watson in this situation, which, from my understanding, all indication is pointing to a lot of the teams. The team is actually supporting Deshaun Watson. So that's what I'm saying. It's a two-way street. I wasn't in that situation. I don't know what's going on. I'm just here reading tabloids, and that's all it really is.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's just one of those things. But with the case already moving on, he's suspended. They already got that out in the air. What do we really think the Cleveland Browns is going to be able to really do? Do we really think they're going to be the same Cleveland Browns without Deshaun Watson? Because he's going to be taking mental reps because he knows he's coming back. What do you think Cleveland Browns stands at?
Yeah, I don't think they're still competitive. I mean, even if he is gone for the year, Yeah, they're still going to get that division. They're still going to get the division hell.
Yeah,
I mean, they're just because they're to me they're a sound, complete football team.
yeah,
You know, they just don't 100%. Deshaun just takes them over the top. But I
yeah.
mean, look what they did with. Look, I'm a Baker Mayfield fan. I think. Well, let me not say fan because I'm not a fan, but I'm a Baker Mayfield. Because I'm not a fan.
Hey, I had to look at you like,
Yeah, I'm not a fan, but I defend him because I don't think he's gotten the right. He's had four different head coaches.
yeah,
Bro, Freddie Kitchens was head coach at one point. So, I mean,
yeah,
it's. I don't know anybody that can. I mean, yeah, people can, but it's hard for anybody to adapt that type of language. Everybody's gonna come in and do their own thing. It's just like a job. I mean, you got someone that comes in, everybody wants to put their stamp on it, and everybody has to follow suit, but that takes time. So I just Baker Mayfield doesn't have. He's a good quarterback,
yeah,
um, but going back to the Browns, they got defense, they got offense, they got special teams. Yeah, I think that gets overlooked a lot. Their special teams is very sound. I mean, they had a hell of a year last year. I think they forced what just on special teams alone, like they returned four touchdowns. They returned four touchdowns. They forced. You know what? Let's be accurate.
while you doing that,
Mhm.
I didn't even think about it. Like, Cleveland is definitely. I just feel like this. Is like I say, I agree with you. Deshaun Watson definitely will put them over the top.
Yeah.
My question is how many games will they win without him for that first 6 games? Are they gonna go 1-5, 3-3, 4-2, 2-4, 1-5, 5-1? That's my question because the backup, you know, he did. I say this. He did decent in Indianapolis, but how much of an impact was he in Indianapolis compared to how much of an impact Deshaun Watson is going to be at Cleveland?
You think he's better than Jimmy Garoppolo? Because they come from the same branch. Jimmy Garoppolo and Jacoby Brissett, they come from the same tree.
Okay,
I,
let me
I,
ask
I
you this. So, real quick, do you think he had the same? I know why we keep saying he Dorset. Do we think he had the same opportunity as Jimmy Garoppolo? Because think about Jimmy Garoppolo went to 49ers.
yeah, no, because okay, so Jacoby Brissett,
Yeah,
he went to the Colts,
yeah,
and he even Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts, raved about him. He didn't
yeah.
have this. He didn't even get it. You know who Jacoby Brissett reminds me of?
Hmm.
Teddy Bridgewater. Just a and no pun, but just a bridge quarterback to the next quarterback. you know,
But
and
I
not
wouldn't say that because Teddy got injured. I think look at this. If Teddy didn't get injured with the Vikings, do you think he would be where he's at now?
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
But
That's what I'm saying.
after the
But see,
injury,
Jacoby didn't get injured. I just think he ended up getting traded to a team that like Jimmy Garoppolo went to the 49ers,
mhm,
which was already a pretty much a building sound team.
and they
Defense
believed
was
in him though.
always, yeah, and I think everybody believed in Jacoby Brissett, but they didn't have the same weapons that they. I just don't think the Indianapolis Colts had the same players, and playmakers just like the 49ers did. I
No,
just think he went to. I think Jimmy went to a really good, well-sounded organization, whereas Jacoby went to organization that technically was probably it still is what technically was at the time a rebuilding, like reframing organization. Like I mean,
yeah,
they were decent, but it wasn't the same as when it was Andrew Luck was there. It just
yeah,
wasn't the same. Wasn't the same when it was Peyton Manning. It just definitely wasn't the same. So I think he got to a team that was definitely in a rebuild where
yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo organization was sound.
Look, that's add on to the point. I don't think he got his fair shot, but
Yeah,
he's more. Jacoby Brissett is more than a decent quarterback. I think I would
yeah,
put him in. He's more than average too. I put him. He's a good quarterback, and he is what to me. He can be what Jimmy Garoppolo was for the 49ers. He can be that for the
true.
Browns.
Yeah,
Because the Browns have weapons and they have, like again, the defense. I'm trying to pull it up. My phone is tripping, but so sorry I couldn't get the accurate stats, but I do know that the special teams was on point. I know they were rated number one last year. I'm sorry, number two. They were number
mm,
two. So
yeah,
just the special teams alone. So I mean, Jacoby is one of those dudes where again, think I don't think you're gonna need Deshaun. I mean, you need Deshaun because he takes you over the top. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're looking to make noise in the playoffs, they can do it. But woo, man, woo, the AFC West or not West, the AFC period. Woo, Jesus,
It's gonna be a tough
Chargers,
Raiders,
Raiders, the
Rams,
Chiefs, the Rams,
Rams.
the NFC.
I mean, yeah.
Um, I mean, it is going to be a juggernaut. Oh, the Bills. I mean, you got sleeper teams. I mean, Broncos. Like it's
That's what I was thinking. Broncos too. It's a nasty league.
it's a nasty AFC this year. So it's you need. That's it. See win the Super Bowl? No. That's it. Making some noise in the playoffs? I do. So, but Deshaun gets you to the next step.
Yeah. So. Well, that's why I say, look, Jacoby, if he really wants to put his name out there, he better use these 6 games.
Yeah.
And use them right. Like I look at it this way: if the Cleveland Browns couldn't get Deshaun Watson and didn't want Baker Mayfield, Jacoby would be an upgrade for them.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
He would be. But again, this goes back to it's like man, again, that bridge quarterback, he is going to be and it's you know what? It's too late for him.
Oh,
because
most definitely.
he's too old. Well, he's a little older, so where teams are not going to want to build around him.
Yeah.
And he's not young enough to be where a team's going to be like, okay, I believe in you. You're going to be at this point. If your phone is ringing, it's ringing because we need you to be that bridge quarterback for the next person. That's what he is now. It's time is bad. So
the time is definitely bad. I think he sat on the bench a little bit too long with New England.
Too long. So the time is bad, but he's a really, really good quarterback. So I think they'll make some moves.
Yeah,
and more importantly, he's a smart quarterback. Like he makes the right decisions. So
come from New England. That's all they really do is just. I mean, I got to give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Belichick is like, look, don't throw that ball if it's not going to be complete.
Yeah, man. Nah, I mean, hey, just like Jimmy Garoppolo, if he's off, hand it to Chubb, hand it to Kareem. You got Amari Cooper there, which I think you're gonna see a different side of Amari Cooper. I think you're gonna kind of see what they do with Deebo. Or San Francisco does with Deebo. I think they're gonna do that with Amari. I do. They're gonna change. I think this is gonna be a little different. But when we do the Browns predictions, we'll dig a little more deeper into it.
All right. Well, speaking on that Deebo, Mr. Samuels.
Yeah, look,
big old contract. Yeah, boy, he got he said, I'm sitting out till I make something happen, and 49ers came with a contract he couldn't deny, and 3 years, $73 million, and $58 million of it's guaranteed. Man, you know what? I chime a little bit and let you roll.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I mean, why not give that man for what he did for them all last season? Going into the playoffs. He was pretty much him and then the defense for the 49ers. There's no knock on Jimmy. There's no knock on their running backs. I'm not knocking their offensive line. They all did their part. But Deebo Samuels, what he did last year, if anybody had Deebo Samuels on their fantasy team, what he did in the playoffs alone is just something different. Like all those swing routes that they had him doing, all those in-out routes. I mean, they would use that man as a running back. They had him lined up as a running back, a wide receiver lined up as a running back. So, that just lets you know he's their number one weapon. He's their quarterback of the offense. Just playing a wide receiver. You know what? Shout out to Deebo for the new contract, and I think, and he's still young. This man is young. He's not, it's not like he's just not hitting this. He's young. Been doing this since college. So Deebo Samuels deserves it. He got it. Congratulations. It's just that what else are they going to be able to put around him? Because if he's the sole on the play on that offense, they got the rookie quarterback pretty much. Who else is going to be their contributor? That's my biggest concern.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up his my phone is just tripping, but I remember seeing his incentives for how they broken down because he's a hybrid. I guess what I want to dig more into is how we're going to pay these positions moving forward. Again, shout out to Deebo. He deserved it. I mean, when you say there's no knock to Jimmy G, it is kind of a knock to him, because I mean, he's listed as wide receiver,
Yeah.
and he's wide receiver. He's a running back. I mean, again, all the plays that they had him doing. I mean, Mans was doing it all, kind of like what Cordell Patterson is doing. Was he with Atlanta? Right? Is he still with Atlanta?
Yeah. Yeah. Still with Atlanta.
But he's doing it way better. He's
Yeah.
taking it
Way
to a
better. Yeah.
whole nother
Yeah.
level. So I
Yeah.
guess
I
my
think
question,
Cordell's out his prime.
yeah, he is. So I guess my question would be, because again, what is that? The NFL, they see certain things, and coaches, players, owners, they see it and they imitate, and they're like, okay, who's going to be the next Deebo Samuels? And these kids that are being groomed right now in high school, middle school, college, they're going to be, some of them, I don't want to say expected, but I think a lot of them are going to try to be because that's a two-way player now. Like
Yeah.
when have you heard of a two-way player like Deebo Samuel in the NFL? That's basketball terms.
Yeah.
Two-way player. So he's he's an official two-way player, because he got the two-way player money. But it's going to be interesting to see moving forward how they handle that.
Yeah.
And the other thing I like about his deal is that it's a short-term deal. He got $58 million guaranteed, and it's full 71. But I think the incentives are rushing and receiving. But what I think is interesting is a lot more like DK Metcalf. It's on par with DK Metcalf. He got his deal too. It's on par with that, but it's short term. So it's 3 years. So he's still be in his prime in 3 years. So if he's still putting up numbers in 3 years, which he could be, the concern though is because just like we talk about running backs, there's a couple ways I want to break this down. And it's not Deebo's fault, but hybrids like him is going to take the running backs out of the game because it's slowly dissipating already. But it's going to be interesting, like down the line, how they're going to pay him, how they're going to structure their contracts. Because so I want the short term deal because I want to get another mega deal because he has a chance to get another mega deal. But if he's a running back and a wide receiver, it's going to be a lot of tread on those tires. And where is he going to be at in 3 years? Injury prone. Like I don't wish that on him. When you run that ball, he's a hard runner because he's not a good route runner. Not the greatest. He's not the greatest vertical threat. Not really an end zone threat, but he just runs hard. And he knows he has. I don't want to say he has. What did Eric Dickinson say? I was watching Dickinson say he has pocket presence. Like when he has that ball, he can feel somebody behind him on the side of him. He has that. But I just question players like that that's going to come up because it's going to happen. I question how's it going to affect them long term. But they're going to have to sign these short term deals, which it's a good thing for the players. But I think it can hinder them as well. So
well, we'll see what he does, man. You got a good point. I agree, man. What is he going to do in the next 3 years? Is he still going to be with the 49ers? Because if you're not with the 49ers and he messes around and gets injured within this contract, within 3 years of his contract, then it's like, who wants to pick him up plus his contract? You see what I'm saying? So,
and if I'm
go ahead.
If I'm an owner, if I'm a scout or coach, I have to factor in the running. Okay, so how many times are you rushing now? Okay, so let me do that because everything the more now than there is my analytics. So so if you got this much miles in running and rushing, I got to use that as if you was a running back. So that can be that can hinder you in contract talks. Pay you more or less money. So it'll be interesting how they handle that down the line. It'll be interesting.
And it'd be very interesting to see how teams react to this scheme because it's already been shown. So, but you know what I'm thinking, with that new quarterback, that freshman quarterback that they got, he's mobile. So I can see this becoming an option thing where now you got to watch both of them. Even if he gets motion and Deebo Samuel comes into motion and it seems like it's going to be a handoff, he can pull it and run. So it'd be one of those situations they might start making it real tricky. But again, Daniel, congratulations on that contract extension. But moving on to the last one, man, that brother from the island, Juan Soto.
Juan Soto, huh? Juan Soto, man. that's a having Juan Soto, man. That's a big deal. He's young. He just man, he just won the home run derby.
Yeah,
They failed to. They've been trying to. The Nationals have been trying to work out a contract with him for the past 2, maybe 3 years, and he's been declining. $300 million deals, $400 million deals, $500 million deals. Excuse me. And it's a big deal because I mean, first of all, who's going to turn down that type of money? But they was trying to lock him in to like a 10 to 15 year deal, um, which that's the problem. Like Mike Trout, he got locked into a 10 year deal. Bryce Harper, I think he got locked into damn near a 12 year deal. So they're able to give you all this money, and you're breaking records: $400 million, $300 million, $400 million. You're able to give you all this money, but the problem is you're locked into this team forever. And
yeah,
basically, and you can do like a no trade clause, but I mean, you sign that type of deal, you're not gonna go nowhere for a good 5 to 6, 7 years. So
yeah.
his thing was, I remember reading that with Juan Soto is that he doesn't mind a long term contract, but he doesn't want it. He don't want to be with a team for 10, 15 years. He wants to be with a team 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
So what's going to be more interesting about this is they traded him. So they didn't pick him up off free agency. They traded him. And the litter, man, the haul that they got back, the Washington Nationals got back for him, insane. They got 3 pitchers. They're all prospecting number one. Well, 1 and 2. They got a second baseman. Eric. So his name is Eric Hosmer. He went to the
Hmm.
Red Sox because I thought he got traded there, but he did not. But this the haul that they got from Juan Soto was ridiculous. Um, so it's gonna be interesting for me with Juan Soto. It's gonna be interesting to see what kind of deal they sign him to, because technically he's a free agent after this year. So there has to be some type of agreement in place to where, okay, to give up that, because they gave up a lot. To give up that what they gave up has to be agreement in place to where, okay, if we're trade for you, you're definitely going to commit to the Padres. And if they
Hmm.
and which I believe he will. I mean, they got Manny Machado. They have obviously Fernando Tatis. He's the headliner of the Padres. He's 23, 24. Manny Machado, he's like 28, 29, but he's with the Orioles, and he was another monster. But he just kind of fell off because he was having some he has anger issues. But so the Orioles traded him. But still a hell of a player. The pitching is on point. They got Yu Darvish. Um, one guy named Max. He's one of the starting pitchers. I mean, the pitching alone is good. So I'm not saying they're going to be. I do think they'd be a championship team.
Hmm.
Um, just alone, but they're set up because they're young. Fernando Tatis is young. Manny Machado, baseball years, that's young. 28, that's young. They're set up to be, if they all sit together and play together, man. Um, I mean, they can be. I think I said it to you offline, man. They can be the Warriors of the basketball, man. Like they're really setting them up, man. So I
Yeah.
think it's a huge trade, huge deal. But I really want to see in the off season, or they might do it during the year. We'll see. But I really want to kind of see what deal, because he turned down multiple deals with the Nationals. They tried to sign him multiple times,
Mm.
uh, $400 million deals, $500 million, and he would not do it. So hey, it's interesting that he ended up with the Padres, man, and
Yeah.
the city of San Diego, man. Like,
Oh, they
they got one.
celebrating. They popping bottles.
They got one.
Another thing. I wonder. I want to see what their Padres do this season, because October is not too far. We're coming up on
No,
October. We got
mm-mm.
we got September left, and then October will be here. So, uh, usually that's when you start seeing your big time baseball teams start really showing up. The ones who's going to be in the
Yeah,
playoffs. This is when they
yeah,
start showing up.
yeah,
This is the
yeah.
time of the season. Once the home run derby and that whole All Star season, I mean the All Star game is over with. This is when your favorite team starts to show up, and I'm rooting for the Braves. Y'all already know it. We coming. We coming, and we definitely gonna make another segment when we talk about the Major League Baseball,
Yeah,
man. We
yeah.
definitely gonna do that,
We
man.
got to dig into it because right now,
We
right now they're in second place. They're behind the Dodgers. The Dodgers are 70 and 33, and the Padres are 60 and 46. So right now they're still doing well because the team behind them is the Giants, and they have 51 games. So they are about 9 or 8.5 games above the Giants. So, but they're chasing the Dodgers, and the Dodgers are always a juggernaut, man. You got Mookie Betts, Clayton Kershaw. I mean, they got they're monsters.
Trust me, I know. Oh, trust me.
I know. Yeah, you know. Yeah, you definitely know. You know.
Took us. Oh God damn.
So this move right here, man. Again, it's a lot of baseball left. We got August, September. I mean, it's a lot of baseball left.
Once October hits, man, we're gonna see.
Yeah, man.
It's gonna be the time of the season. Trust me, I'm gonna be. Yeah. But that was a good one, man.
Yes, sir.
Anything else, man? You doing good, man? Hanging in
there? I'm hanging in there, man. We're doing good. I do feel like there's one topic, man, that we're missing that we probably should talk about, but man, other than that, man, everything is all right. Hold on, just for a second. We can. As a matter of fact, I know we are. There is one more topic I did want to talk about. I don't know if we should wait for Jeff, but we could hit on it real quick. Yeah. The Dolphins, they got hit with tampering.
Oh, tampering. Yeah.
Tampering. That was what I wanted to talk about. They lost the first round pick and they got fined. And Brian Flores came out and said it's unfortunate that that still doesn't. It's going to basically overshadow what his lawsuit is about. So maybe we could talk about that. If you want to talk about that now, or you want to talk about next podcast? But
let's save that one for the next one.
Okay.
Let's save that one for the next podcast.
Okay.
And we'll definitely chime in on that. We definitely gonna dive in that. I think that'd be a good one. Okay. But as always, it's Creative Notice. It's your boy Bobby Douglas, Adrian Blackwell, and as usual, like, subscribe, comment. Man, y'all doing a great job. And again, hey, also, man, thank you for the 138 subscribers, man. Y'all got us to 138 subscribers. Thank you for everything you're doing. If it wasn't for y'all, we would not be at that level. So it's all kudos to you. We're just here trying to bring the content. Whatever else you want to see, let us know. If you think there's something we can improve on, let us know. All right? And we out. Peace.
Yes, sir. Peace.